Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We're glad you joined us today for this important conversation, Cultivating the Transportation Engineering and Public Works Workforce of the Future. My name is Patrick Brady. I'm the Director of Workforce Development for the American Council of Engineering Companies, and I'll be your host for today's webinar, which is part of the pre-summit series leading up to TRB's National Summit for the Transportation Workforce, taking place this June 2nd through the 4th in Westminster, Colorado. If you haven't already registered, you can use the QR code showing on your screen now, and we'll be sharing it again at the conclusion of today's recording. As many of you know, the transportation sector is evolving at an unprecedented pace, driven by rapid technological innovation, urgent climate considerations, and shifting population patterns. To meet these challenges head on, we must grow our engineering workforce, not just in numbers, but in skills, diversity, and adaptability. Today's webinar will explore how we can attract, develop, and support a transportation workforce that's ready to lead into the future. We'll dive into innovative efforts to inspire K-12 students and create new academic and training pathways, strategies for building a more inclusive workforce that reflects the communities we serve, emerging competencies like data analytics, automation, and climate resilience, and the power of public-private partnerships in accelerating innovation and ensuring workforce readiness. We're honored to be joined by a fantastic panel of leaders who bring national experience and local insight. Corinne Watts, Workforce and Career Development Manager at APWA, brings more than 15 years of experience addressing skills gaps and fostering career pathways for the public works sector. Donna Shea, Executive Director of the Connecticut T2 Center, a leader in training and professional development for transportation professionals statewide, and immediate past chair of the APWA National Workforce Development Committee, and Eric Rensel, a transportation expert with more than 26 years of experience and founder of Rensel Consulting. His expertise focused on connected vehicles, smart cities, highway automation, and TSMO. Eric represents the Institute of Transportation Engineers as part of their participation as a founding member of the Engineering Workforce Consortium. Eric is also personally passionate about workforce development. In the photo shown here, Eric is third from the right. The other people shown were initially employees hired to staff the Nashville Traffic Management Center. Only one of the people shown had a background in transportation before accepting the position. Eric has helped this team quickly become a trusted member of the Nashville traffic operations community, demonstrating a practical example of how adults can find a career in transportation and thrive in it. Thank you again for being here. Your participation is helping shape a stronger, more resilient transportation workforce. I'll now turn it over to Corinne for her presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be on this panel with Eric and Donna and Patrick. And it's also a pleasure to be presenting on this workforce development topic. Next week is National Public Works Week, and any opportunity for me and APWA to get the word out about the great things that Public Works does is fantastic. So I'm happy to be here. There we go. So I started with APWA on May 28th of 2024. So I've been with APWA for 1 year, or almost 1 year. Prior to that, I was doing workforce development in Washington State and worked with Public Works there as well. But when I started, my first goal, if you will, it was to work with the Workforce Development Committee at APWA to develop a workforce strategy. And I believe Patrick had mentioned that Donna was our APWA workforce chair. So I got the pleasure of working with her last year on developing this strategy. And as you can see, I was given the purpose statement and kind of what the committee wanted to focus on is being that global, sustainable, and skilled workforce to meet the current needs of public works, but also the future challenges. And so we really got together to think about what goals did we want to do as a committee? And a few of them kind of rose to the top. One was to promote APWA's tools and resources, but specifically promote those resources to high school level students, to technical schools and community colleges, And then also to develop tools and resources needed to promote public works as a career of choice to that audience. And so I'll talk about a little bit about what we did to make sure that we're promoting to specifically middle school, high school, and college age students. The committee also wanted to work collaboratively with the education initiatives that we were doing at APWA and develop career lattices that really showcase that public works sector. We knew that a lot of great things were already currently happening organically at the local level across the nation in public works, but we also needed to promote those activities a little bit better so that people understood exactly what public works was. So in order to do that, we focus on three main areas, and that is education, recruitment, and retention. So with education, how do we provide the excellence in education with our educational and credentialing department, but also get that out to people that are coming into public works and already professionals in public works so that they know the learning experiences that they can take from their beginning in public works all the way through to the end. We know that we needed to recruit and attract a different kind of candidate. So that's why we focused mainly this past year on middle school, high school students. But also we needed to help retain and motivate the current public works workforce, specifically women in the workforce that often either we lose to a variety of different things, but we knew that it was especially a problem to retain women in public works and engineering. So a few things that we did this year to get started was we started the Girls in Public Works Day. This was the first year that we did that, where we partnered with a public works department and KIP KC to do basically a full day of public works activities. The school themselves transported any of the girls that wanted to kind of figure out what public works does and do. They transported them to the Public Works Department in Overland Park, Kansas. And we did a full day of job shadowing activities. So you're seeing a picture right here of some of the girls that chose to go to the transportation department to kind of learn about the traffic services that they provide in Overland Park, Kansas. We also tried to promote career development and career fairs at local universities. So anytime that we see universities or community colleges career fair events, we will try our best to put somebody in the local public works department there. And that's another picture that you're seeing as well. We partnered with Discover E this last year at their Future Cities competition. So APWA does a special award called Equality of Life for All. Discover E and their Future Cities competition is specifically for middle school and high school students. They're given a theme for that year, and they basically design their own city. So it's really important for us to be involved in that and help promote that activity across our chapters across the nation. Our committee partners with different associations, especially Engineering for a Sustainable World, that focuses on that recruitment of college-age students into public works and engineering. And then lastly, we have an APWA Futures program, which we have every year at our Public Works Expo. We have a full day where we partner with the local community colleges, local universities, wherever we're hosting our PWX. This year is in Chicago, where we bring those students in and they get to work individually, one-on-one, sometimes with folks that are already in public works. They get to attend our education sessions in public works, and then also do a tour of the Floor Expo to kind of get a feel of what kind of equipment and vendors are available within public works that they might want to go to as well for work. Another activity that a lot of our chapters do, especially during National Public Works Week that will be next week, is called Touch a Truck event. So you'll see in these pictures that it really is bringing middle school and little kids to an area where they get to touch the public works equipment and kind of sit in the seat and see what all that's about. So these are pretty popular events that go on nationwide. As far as actual material, that we knew that we needed to do a better job of giving folks, whether that be career counselors, students, or their parents, actual material that kind of describe the world of public works. And you can see from this slide that we have a public works career cluster. And that really is for them to look at this map and find a match within public works because it is so broad and there's a lot of different career clusters. To get the facts and research opportunities within public works that might match up to their interest, and then to make a plan and tell their career guidance counselor that, this is the kind of public works position that I might be interested in. This matches my work environment that I want to work in. I'm kind of more of a field person and less an office person. The applied learning, I'm a hands-on type person, and this seems like a good fit for me. So it kind of walks them through the different avenues in public works to match them up with their interests. And I believe there's a link to that printable chart in the chat box.
Yep, we just dropped it in.
Thank you. So retention is another thing that was mentioned earlier, but just like any other field right now, public works does struggle with retaining employees. And so we've done a good job this year with the Workforce Development Committee of really trying to focus on the good things that are happening with our local public works people and showcasing that, whether that be in our APWA reporter or through a variety of different ways so that folks can know what's happening at the local level. This picture right here is of Boone County, Kentucky. They started a hard hat sticker program to recognize the successes of their public works professionals. So you can see that anytime somebody does something good, or if they've finished and completed a training, they get a sticker to put on their hat. It's a lot like college football. You notice the football players have little stickers on their hat for when they get a good tackle or something like that. So that's been something that Boone County started that has been pretty popular, and we've had some good feedback from other places that have started that as well. We celebrated 5 years of our Women of Winter at our North American Snow Conference. So we really wanted to celebrate that with the women who continue to be a part of public works, and celebrating employees often throughout the year really is important for retention. So just making sure that you're doing these things as a morale booster. It doesn't have to be expensive when you're celebrating the success of employees. The sticker program, it didn't cost that much. Saying thank you notes, but just making sure that we are saying thank you often and celebrating them, the workers and professional or in public works. All right, this is a map of our public works career journey from beginning to end. This is another infographic that we developed to try to just break down public works into a very basic pathway so it's easily digestible for middle school students, for high school students, for their parents and guidance counselors. It does tell that story of public works from beginning to end. So you can come into public works, try to do some career exploration to align yourself with what you're interested in. But then that doesn't stop there. So, you're in public works, now what? You want to build your knowledge, maybe do some quick listen and learns, attend webinars like the one we're doing today, and grow that knowledge. The third step is advancing to leadership. So we have an Emerging Leaders Academy that is a full year program where we develop that kind of mid-level public works professional to be a leader. The fourth stage is developing agency performance and fostering innovation. So now that you're a leader in public works and you're leading public works departments, how do we make sure that that public works department is being innovative and constantly changing? And then lastly, you've contributed to the profession throughout your life cycle. How do you give back and maybe do some mentoring or sit on an accreditation council? This QR code will take you to a list of resources on the APWA website, specifically career resources. We have a page for veterans in public works that will take you to a list of great resources for vets in public works, or vets that want to think about public works as a transitioning profession. It'll take you to the Shaping the World of Public Works booklet that will describe all of the different opportunities within public works. And then lastly, our public works and public service brochure that really is that quick one pager that you can hand out to middle school and high school students that say, hey, public works is actually serving your community, because we know that that's what the younger generation wants to be doing when they're working. All right, so I think that's it for me. Any questions?
Hey, Corinne, we're going to hold off on questions until the end. So I will just turn it over to Donna for her presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Corinne and Patrick. I'm going to okay, great. I'm going to share my screen now. There we go. Okay. All right, get over here. See if I can. Of course, not letting me change my, oh, here we go. Let's see here. I may need our Zoom producer for a second.
Okay.
All right, let's see. It's not giving me the option that it did as soon as we came on about switching the display setting.
Okay. Go on the go to on the bottom, the very bottom, where it says 70%. There's like a little, like it looks like a little TV. Push that button. Like go over right there. Push that, and then and now you want to go over to where it would say swap. Thank you.
What about, let's see here.
Oh, yeah, now you want to swap. You should be like, you should see up top display settings now. Maybe go to the other screen that you're on, look at, and then it might, you're not getting the black screen where it says display settings, because that's what we're seeing.
Oh, you are seeing that?
Yep. So now you just got to swap them.
So interesting that it's not showing me that. Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Yay. Perfect. Great. Good to go?
Oh, yep, you got it.
Great. Thank you all so much. Before I share a little bit about what Connecticut is doing, I want to reinforce some of what Corinne said about the Workforce Development Committee at APWA. I loved every minute of working with that group, and I just want to encourage you, if you have the opportunity to connect with them, either to apply for membership or to be on their knowledge team or just utilize the resources that they've developed. I'm so proud of our work together on that, and I know the group is continuing some really amazing things. So keep connected with them. So I just wanted to give her a little plug on that because it was just delightful, the entire experience. So I am thrilled today to talk about some of the work that we're doing in Connecticut on workforce development. I guess we always here at the T2 Center start with the why. So first, we have been here over 40 years working with this community. And we've watched the public works and engineering agencies continue to be faced with challenges, both in recruiting and retention. And those challenges are continuing. Since we've been here so long with them, we're such a trusted resource for them. We felt that we were perfectly positioned to support these challenges and just stay in partnership with the agencies, with the DOT, with everyone that we work with on a strategic level. One of the benefits of my working on the Workforce Development Committee was that I became a member of the new Engineering Workforce Consortium. So what it made me realize the first time I traveled to DC for their summit was there's so many people working together on workforce development. And if we keep connected and keep leveraging the resources that we have available, we're going to have a lot of success in dealing with this. I was very hopeful. We were really talking about solutions more than we were talking about the challenges. And I think for us here in Connecticut, our trusted relationship with this community helps us better understand how we can support their challenges. So it's been really nice to work together, both on a national level and in Connecticut on these issues. So who are we? We're doing a lot of great work in Connecticut, but I think it's very important to recognize that we're one of 51 local technical assistance programs throughout the US and Puerto Rico. So the nice part about that is that we have colleagues and friends, really family at this point, who share with us, who work with us on issues. But I think one of the keys to our success is that we develop the programs that are uniquely meeting the needs of each state, which means we don't all have to do the same thing. But it's wonderful that we can learn from each other on what's working, what our challenges are, and share some of the outcomes of our hard work so it can benefit other states around the country. We are funded through the Federal Highway Administration and our state DOT partners. And, we're in a small state, so we're very happy to be serving 169 local agencies here. So you saw Corinne mention a roadmap, kind of a map of the career from beginning to end. One of our biggest goals all along in the almost 26 years I've been here at the center is to be a part of these individuals' first day all the way through their leadership of their agencies. We wanted to be the group that they could count on to be with them for their whole journey. So much of our work, and we now have 10 actual certificate programs. So we have certificate programs that serves the group when they come in the door from their first day, and also right through their hopefully opportunity to lead their agencies into the future, and many stopping points along the way. So I wanted today to talk a little bit about some of the structures of those and how they're working for us. So first, super excited about our Public Works Academy. So these are brand new. Recently, we've had people say, this is my second day in the Public Works Agency. And we also have some people who are just really new to professional development in their agency. And it's been nice to see some with more experience help kind of mentor some of the brand new folks. One of the best decisions we made in this program, and to give you a sense of the program, it's actually 6 days once a week. So it's a commitment for the agency to be sending these folks to us for a full 6 days. The first day, though, is completely focused on how communication skills and professionalism will serve you for your entire career. And it's really builds a framework of really a solid foundation for them. And I think one of the best decisions that we made in this. The rest of the time, we work on technical skills, work zone safety, chainsaw safety, all kinds of different heavy equipment, operational safety. They learned so many skills that'll serve them before they have to fully integrate into the department. And We actually now have 4 sessions a year because of trying to meet the demand. We have waiting lists every single year for folks, and we're really trying to build it so that we can meet those needs. It's been very exciting, that program. One of our kind of long-term kind of capstone projects has been the Roadmaster program. This is usually a 2-year program for frontline staff. Again, we always integrate communication, dealing with difficult people, all types of interpersonal skills along with the technical topics. So we've had many people take this program and then use it as an opportunity to be promoted in their agency and at the DOT maintenance level. Our audience is both local agencies, municipalities, and our DOT staff. So it's a great way for them to come together. This photo you see is a group of towns and DOT. So they're building relationships and networks along the way and learning many wonderful topics to go along with their career professional development. And then once they graduate from the Roadmaster program, they have the opportunity to participate in the Road Scholar program. We see many of our crew leaders and superintendents taking these kind of programs because we're starting to transition them from thinking about day-to-day technical topics to thinking about more management level things like asset management, successful budgeting, but also how am I transitioning from my position to supervising this group? And we put a lot of time and effort into trying to support folks because we know that that can be a challenge coming into a role where you don't have a lot of opportunity for development. So I think our team does a great job being along with them. And we have many times where these participants will call us and ask for our opinion about something. So we kind of are mentors for them along the way as well. Another program that we are so excited about is our Transportation Leadership Program. This is a cohort-based program, and you actually have to apply. You have to write an essay. You have to have a letter of recommendation from your supervisor, which many times means they have to go to a mayor or a division chief at the DOT to ask, to be able to go to this program. So it's a really big deal to get accepted into the TLP. Regina, actually our Zoom producer today, is our lead coordinator on that. She also is an alumni of the program. Great decision for us to have someone who has been through the program and cares a great deal about the program and the people to lead this for us. So it's a series, it's a 2-year program, 9 days of full day sessions. A lot of what we focus on is how they're going to enhance the employee experience, which I know is a lot of good national work coming out of workforce. So we try to give them a lot of tools to be able to do that work. I'll talk in a second about our Pay It Forward project, which we couldn't be more excited about, and seeing the outcomes of that work. So this group is engineers, it's the public works community, it's planners, it's law enforcement, it's both municipal and DOT. So what we have found is it builds such a strong community through networking of leaders that are going to be the future of our state. So I really feel strongly that we're building a solid foundation for these folks to have relationships that they can build on in the future. So we've been very excited about this. And I know that a lot of our other centers through the country are doing a lot of good work in leadership programs as well. So Pay It Forward. So a few years ago, we decided we wanted to change up our, capstone project and everything. We wanted it to be a Pay It Forward project. So that's how we started to do some work in the workforce development recruiting project. So you'll see this gentleman here, his name is Britton. He leads a traffic signal unit at the DOT. And we have another gentleman here who leads all the signals, 120, I think, signals in Stanford, is with them at this. Today, they're actually at another tech school doing a presentation. They bring all kinds of equipment so these kids can wire a signal. It was very exciting, and this actually is giving them the credit in the Pay It Forward project in the TLP. So we wanted to have them select a project that really had them make a contribution to this community. The first one you'll see is that this group moderated a roundtable on having to build a brand new DPW facility, which is a very big project, lessons learned, how that went. And we were full with a group of public works directors who wanted to learn how that went for them. We have people that teach classes for us now coming out of the TLP program, which sometimes can be kind of a nerve-wracking experience, but it's really good for them and good for us to benefit from their knowledge. So we are so happy that we made this change, and we're seeing so much of a positive outcome supporting the workforce through this work. And it's really their work to do and their contribution. So I just wanted to share a little bit. This is actually one of our Pay It Forward TLP graduates developed his entire Pay It Forward project on enhancing the employee experience. And I'm hoping that some of you that'll go to PWX in Chicago this year with APWA will get to see a presentation in the workforce, presentations they have about how he's implementing some of these kind of key principles, leadership principles into his work. And he's had calls from many other towns to say, can you share with me how this is working? Because they saw the outcomes of his work. So, just so many opportunities here, but we're very proud of what they're doing. Staying connected, you'll see this is actually, the picture at the top is actually a leadership hot topics roundtable. And we just facilitate them and they bring their topics. And as you can see, this is not a requirement that they attend this. And they're really excited about trying to keep connected and stay together. And Regina does a great job with our TLP Quick Connects webinars, leadership lessons, newsletter. We recognize their accomplishments, but I think staying connected is really a key to their success in the future. The other thing we do is there are some programs where we've really let them self-select the classes that will benefit them, and we just give them credit for hours. And two of those are our Connecticut Safety Champion and our Connecticut Traffic Signal Champion. And we have many engineers that go through these programs as well in topics like road safety assessments, designing for pedestrians, complete streets, many new technologies that we're helping them learn and understand. So these are opportunities where they can really self-craft their own professional development opportunity, and we just support them through providing credit through our programs. And finally, I want to make sure to mention the strong partnership that UConn and our DOT has through a workforce task force that they developed. They're working together with the leadership of our College of Engineering part of what they're looking at is how do we get UConn to accept more engineering students? Is there a partnership for internships? They have all kinds of great topics that they're working on. And this is definitely a model that I would suggest other people consider to bring together your DOT leadership and your universities that you have in your states together to try to brainstorm how to solve some of these challenges. I think that's a very successful partnership. So I just wanted to make sure to mention that outside of the T2 Center, but certainly part of our UConn community. Thank you. So we'll save our questions for the end. But I'm delighted to be able to share that with you today and be a part of this group. And I'm going to turn it over now to Patrick to have Eric speak, actually.
Yes, thank you, Donna. Eric.
Thanks. That was a great presentation, Donna, and thanks, Patrick, for the reintroduction. I'm really excited to be here with all of you today. And, I think that just kind of building on the story that Patrick shared as part of my bio, we've heard some great information today from both of the speakers about these opportunities to embrace transportation workforce and to find it everywhere it might exist. And just to go back to my group of TMC staff from Nashville there, every single one of them, as they got into it and started to go through the training that we all provided them, were amazed by the value that we as transportation professionals and engineers overall bring to society. And that trend has continued. They've been on the job since last September. And every day when I talk to them, they have some kind of new realization of the important role of engineers and in our case, transportation professionals. And so I think that's a lesson for all of us that, coming here today, everybody that's attending today, the speakers, it's really great that we're here sharing our stories and talking to one another and learning from each other. But the important thing is that, we take action and that we move towards making a difference in this, and we move beyond talking to each other and we talk to those who we would like to have in our industry. And that's really one of the major points of the National Summit that will be held in June in Colorado. And today's webinar, of course, is leading up to that. And that's a theme that I know will come up often when we meet in June, and something I'll certainly be focusing on with the panel that I'll be leading. So with that in mind, what I wanted to really talk about today from the ITE perspective is about what we do for workforce retention strategies. And this is just a small snapshot. There certainly are more than this, but I wanted to give you a flavor of some of the ones that we do. So just a little bit about ITE. ITE has 18,000 members, or over 18,000 members worldwide. Those people, everybody's encompassed in 11 districts at the highest level. The districts are divided into sections of 72 of those, and then in certain geographic areas it makes sense to have smaller chapters. We have over 20 different international committees at the broadest level of the organization. Across those different districts, they're represented by the 11. There's also committees that exist at those levels as well. And our membership is representing 78 different countries around the world who look to ITE for guidance on transportation engineering, some important transportation planning topics, as well as how to become and remain a part of the traffic or transportation engineering community. We have a balanced membership of about 45% public, 45% private, and another 10% of academic members. So we're pretty proud of that, and that's something that we talk about often. So what I want to do today, like I was saying, is I want to talk about our retention strategies at ITE, because really, as I've been thinking about workforce development and kind of trying to think about it from the ITE perspective, so much of what we do is related to retaining the workshop or the workforce rather, and inviting in people like I talked about at the beginning of the presentation here, people who maybe don't start in transportation but find it at some point in their life and then love being part of it. And I would say that above all the things I'll talk about today, I think at ITE what we're most proud of is the culture we create that invites many people to come and collaborate and be a part of it. And so here on this slide, first, what we do is we share our culture with students. We have over 150 student chapters around the world, and that's growing, particularly internationally. It's growing. We intentionally provide connectivity and programming at both the section and the district levels. We sponsor and hold national competitions like a lot of other associations. And one of the things that we do that is really a core part of this part of our retention story is sponsor these things called student leadership summits. These are conferences planned by students for students, where they take the lead, they put the agenda together, they invite the speakers, they handle all of the logistics, and they really put this conference on. The professionals are really there to supplement and fit into the program the way the students would like them to fit in. And that's a really important part of our culture. And so what I wanted to do here is I'm going to share a few videos as we go along, because I thought what would be more interesting than listening to me speak is seeing and hearing from some of our people who are really focused on different parts of this journey. So that video was created by the Fresno State student chapter, and I can tell you that the students that participated in that were so proud of the work they did, and they should have been. It was a great conference, and a great job to kind of summarize it up. The next part is really supporting these growing professionals that are on the move, right? They're transitioning from being a student to being a young professional, and that can be an important time in somebody's life, certainly in their career as a transportation professional. And so what we really focus on for this part is creating and providing and curating relatable content. We do things like sponsoring programs called Young Leaders to Follow, where people at the most local level can be recognized and come up through a process where they can gain national recognition in the association for the work they're putting in. We also host something called the Traffic Bowl. The Traffic Bowl is a Jeopardy style competition where any university with a transportation or engineering program can participate and put together teams. The topics are announced. They're based on a few fundamental documents used to guide the practice of traffic engineering. And, they participate in a tournament, and then at our international meeting each summer, there's the Traffic Bowl is held to determine who is the champion for that year. We also are very proud of our growing Diversity Scholars program, and the Diversity Scholars program really focuses on finding people who are nominated or nominate themselves who may not have opportunity to go to a college or university to seek a engineering and transportation focused career, and provide them with some financial ability to do that. And then the flagship thing here we provide is a career center. It's on the website. It's geared towards young professionals, and it gives them all the tools they might need, from preparing their resume, preparing for an interview, a mentorship program participation, people that you can reach out to get information about in the industry. And that's a crucial part of what we do at an important part of somebody's point in that career.
What are my career options after graduation?
So when I think of career options after graduation, I typically kind of put them into three categories. I would say public sector, private sector, and academia. So in general, I would say public sector is probably going to be like a transit agency, county, city, state department of transportation, something like that. They're probably closest to maybe 40 hours a week. Likely some of the lower pay, but more benefits and greater flexibility. Whereas as you get into like the private sector, it's probably more like consultant work and probably the highest paying, but they'll also likely expect kind of more hours out of you. And then as you get into academia, it kind of falls probably somewhere in between public and private. We're probably expected to work about 40 hours a week, and the pay is probably going to be in between the two. No matter the choice that you pick, I guarantee that you will get out of it what you put into it. So, whatever you choose, if it doesn't work out for you, pick something new.
The next area is really on embracing these new professionals as they've made their transition. And when I say new professionals, this could be young people coming from college, like I've been talking about here, or it could be people who are finding transportation for the first time. Again, we focus on young leaders to follow. We really emphasize participation in one of our 20 different councils and committees. We really then focus on this technical and professional foundation building. We have an ambassador program that will be rolling out this fall, and this is the point where we really focus on mentorship.
everybody. My name is Veronica Ramirez, and I'm a transportation engineer at Auburn University. I wanted to take a moment to highlight some of the benefits of being part of a mentorship program. So having a mentor for the last year gave me the opportunity to ask a lot of questions in a safe space and also open the door to so many resources that I really wasn't aware of. I was lucky enough to be paired up with someone that was in my same position 25 years ago. I talked on the phone with my mentor once a month for a whole year, and I always look forward to it. So please take a minute to sign up for the ITE mentorship program today. Hi, everybody.
And you can tell too, a lot of our content is geared towards meeting people where they are. And one of the more important things we do is then building leadership skills among people who are in industry. We hear time and time again that, you know, people are trained in college and through their academic path to expand their technical expertise. But what we really need, and something the Engineering Workforce Consortium is focused on, is really building the leadership skills we need. And our flagship program for that really is our Leadership ITE experience. And let's hear from Keith Hall about that.
Somebody considering a Leadership ITE program, I would say that you don't realize that you actually needed the program until you've experienced it. As each of us progress throughout our careers, there's a host of opportunities that present themselves for advancing us professionally and or personally. And sometimes it can be overwhelming navigating the right opportunities for investing in you. But look no further. If you're in search of a truly immersive and experiential leadership program that will alter your trajectory both professionally and personally, Leadership ITE is right for you. Built by transportation professionals for transportation professionals, this program is a leadership opportunity that you've been searching for, or maybe didn't realize that you've been in search of, to challenge yourself and evolve your careers in ways you can't imagine.
And then the last part of that really is what we call supporting incremental growth, and that's through stackable credentials. There are a number of safety-related ones and professional practice ones for people that are part of our organization. You've probably heard of the PTOE before. That's an ITE credential and something that's grown in a lot of stature around the country. And so that's an important part of it. And so let's hear from Young Kaprowski for our last video on that.
What is the PTOE, RSP, and PTP? And when and why do people usually obtain these certifications?
These certifications are all obtained by transportation professionals through a certification board that is associated with ITE. The PTOE stands for Professional Traffic Operations Engineer, and this demonstrates that that person has specific expertise in traffic operations. The RSP stands for Road Safety Professional. There's actually two levels to that, or level 1 and then level 2 has an infrastructure and behavioral component. The PTP is Professional Transportation Planner certification, and as I mentioned, all these certifications indicate whether that person has associated experience in a certain discipline that would help them stand out from others in our profession, since there are so many different areas that we can specialize in.
So as you can see, we're really focused on supporting transportation professionals through their whole career journey, as well as inviting in people who are finding transportation. One of the things we focus on, like many other associations do, is really driving our culture through our council and committee involvement opportunities. Here I've shown you a breakout of our technical committees. We also have employer-based committees, and then we have some workforce-focused committees as well. All of these provide opportunities for leadership. They provide opportunities to sharpen your technical skills and to grow your network. And that really comprises what I think of when I think of our culture. The other thing that we're intentional about when it comes to these councils is that we want to make sure the councils are producing things, because we know that that helps improve the member experience, and it helps them feel like they've contributed to something that they can be proud of and show their employer the value of ITE membership. So we really break the products that we create into 3 different groups. Small team led projects, which are groups of 2 to 3 people, the projects that last 1 or 2 months. They're things like LinkedIn blogs or our annual developing trends report or planning webinars. Then there's the medium teams, and you can see there what they do. And then there's the large teams. And really across all of these, but certainly with the large teams, we focus on something called micro volunteering. And that is understanding that people have a day job, they want to be engaged. We need to be able to right size their level of engagement based on what they have available in their lives. And so we try to be very intentional about that and make it so that you can look at the menu of options and find a way to contribute that fits your needs. I mentioned that there's a lot of other engagement opportunities as well. This is a sample of some of those committees, and they're all very active and produce some great content. So if you want more information about any of this, you can reach out to me with the contact information associated with this webinar, or you can contact ITE directly and reach out to Colleen Agan, who is the executive director for membership there, and start the conversation. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Patrick.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Donna and Corinne, for your remarks today. Before we open it up to general questions, I just have a few questions of our panelists. Corinne, in your presentation, you really talk about volunteerism, and sometimes when people think of volunteering, the first step is the hardest step. What are some best practices for engaging with middle school and high school age groups?
I really think it's to connect with the partners that you need. So connecting with those career counselors at the school, because they'll connect you to the actual population that you need to get to. But also having some frank conversations with them about, what is it that middle school and high schoolers want to see? How does that tie into the curriculum that they're already being taught? What kinds of things can I do at our Girls in Public Works event that match with what you're currently teaching? So it's really like, kind of meeting with those career counselors and the parents to identify what kind of opportunities will serve them best, and then diversifying those explorative opportunities. So, at our Girls in Public Works Day, we started with a career assessment and a personality assessment to kind of showcase what they're naturally good at. And then that led into a lunch and learn with the Public Works director and some of the females in the Public Works department. And then went into those job shadowing experiences and then had 10 or 15 of those job shadowing experiences for them to pick from. So it really was kind of diversifying the opportunities that they saw and had to choose.
That's great. When you think of the broader ecosystem that surrounds students in today's environment, what role do schools, especially parents, and your local communities play in this process?
A big part. And like I said, you really need the schools to be able to get to the student. So, they've got to let you in, let you go and table and kind of recruit those students. So that's why the schools are really important. But the parents, because they can talk to the student and give them those real world insights that only come from parents, right? Because they know that their student the best. They know if they're a hands-on type of person. They know if they would prefer maybe an outside work environment rather than an inside. And so, the parents, you can talk to them about the opportunities that are within the sector that you're talking about, and they can kind of match that up to their student or their son or daughter's skill set.
Well, thank you, Corinne. Donna, I know in the chat, Regina has already put in the link to the LTAP directory. What are some critical partners that you would suggest building relationships to support workforce development programs at the local level?
Thank you, Patrick. So I guess first, each of our centers are members of the National LTAP Association. To find exactly the right group in your state, all you have to do is click on that link and enter your state name, and you're going to be connected directly to your LTAP. If you have not worked with your LTAP before, They are a critical partner in being able to help you advance some of these. They're already doing all this great work. So that's number one on my list of making sure everyone on this call, if they're not partnering already with their LTAP. The other thing too is there are local APWA chapters in every single state. We actually have one that kind of is all of New England. Touch base with those folks. They have an education committee, they have recruiting efforts. How can you try to leverage the little bit of resources we all have to partner on these things? And that's a group that is doing exactly the same kind of work and has the same mission. So I would really encourage you to do that. Groups like ITE and ITS, we partner with on a local level. All of these people have local folks that you can connect to. We work with many divisions at the DOT. I definitely encourage you to do that. And like we talked about in DC, if your DOT and university leaders have not sat down and had this conversation, you should be doing that first out of the gate. Sit down and talk to each other. If you're the one educating the future, engineering students particularly, partner with that group too. There's just so much partnership opportunity. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. And
Sure.
Eric, there's a question in the chat, and I don't know if the link that Regina provided to leadership at ITE, but the question from Ann says, have you prepared any materials on transferable skills for adults looking to retrain, and what previous work experience best applies?
I don't know that I'd have to go back and look. I think we do have materials in the ITE training library for people that are transitioning. It is something that we talk about frequently at our meetings. And like Donna said, we reach out to a lot of different groups, especially our local sections and chapters. They do a lot of collaboration with a lot of different groups. And, so I think we do have, content for transitioning professionals, I would say. And regarding leadership ITE, I didn't check the link. I'm sure it's accurate though. And like I said in the chat a couple minutes ago, I'll give a shout out to my ITE colleague, Keith Hall, who's here. He was a star of the show there. And he's one of the people that coordinate leadership ITE. So if you have a specific question on that, I would suggest connect with Keith right now via chat, or you can reach out to any of us afterwards too.
All right, thanks, Eric. And I know we just have one time for one more question. I see Teresa's put it in the chat. And I don't know if we have this answer, but I'll pose it to the group. Can you share how you measure the success of the recruitment programs, especially to middle and high school students?
That's a good question. I don't know if I necessarily have the perfect response for that, because our initiative is fairly new. And I know that it kind of depends on a lot of times the success of what's happening at the local level. We have 64 chapters across the United States and Canada. Some of them have very successful middle school and high school programs that, I think that you would measure the success by how often it happens, those, yearly career fairs and partnerships that are continuing to be successful. But globally, that's kind of a different question and a different beast to tackle. Don, I don't know if you have anything that you can add to that, but
yeah, I'll just add, because ours is very new too, and we're working with the technical schools, and we're actually looking at formal structures of evaluations for both the students and the teachers to try to see if we can keep connected to them, get their first sense of the experience, whether they're still try to keep connected to them and try to build some success out of it. But it's very new for us, but we are trying to build solid evaluation structures within the program.
I would say, Patrick, at ITE, we measure success and enthusiasm. There's always more kids to reach out to, more schools to go to. And I think it's when you see the excitement on the kids, particularly the middle school and elementary kids, about you being there and what you have to say. And they want to go home and tell their parents, about what it means to be at that traffic light or what have you. That's how I think we measure success, and that drives us to keep doing it.
That's a great
thank you.
point, Eric.
That's a great point. Thank you, Corinne. Thank you, Donna. And thank you, Eric, for this great and insightful conversation talking about engineering and public works, workforce of the future. As I mentioned at the top of this call, we hope to see you June 2nd to the 4th in Westminster, Colorado. I'll ask Regina again to pull up the slide with the QR code for those that still have not registered to attend in person. But with that, I'll turn it back over to Regina if she has any more housekeeping.
I don't, and I apologize. I didn't have. I've been putting it in the chat box because we were running out of
Okay,
time.
well,
So,
perfect.
so the link has been put in the chat box probably 3 or 4 times. And just thank you, everyone. And again, we'll have this up on the YouTube, the T2 Center's YouTube channel next week if you'd like to share it.